So I figured this would be an interesting question to ask, given that two of the most popular series, XRD and More Than Meets the Eye, are long-running series, which probably won't be ending anytime soon. But I always thought it interesting when other artists go into a project that's mainly dominated by another artist, like say Milne for More Than Meets the Eye, or like Sarah Stone for Windblade. My question is it hard to try to, actually it's two parts. One, is it hard to try to stay true to the original designs and try to keep to the spirit of it? And two, well, I guess it's really only one is hard. Do you maintain your own style? Because each artist is very distinct, especially like the four of you. You all got like completely different, distinct styles. How do you try to still keep true to that, but still keep your style when you take over someone else's project?
Go first.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, like if I'm working on More Than Meets the Eye, I definitely look at Alex's designs. I try to learn, what the thinking was behind them and figure it out. And then I kind of try to do my own rendition of it that's a little more true to me. I think, I don't know about you guys, I've never tried to alter my style to fit a comic or anything. I figure they're hiring me because they want me, not like somebody to try to look like Alex or Andrew or whatever. So I just go in there and do it. And I've seen comments like when I've worked on XRID and people have said like, oh, Brendan's style it meshes so well with Andrew's. It's you can't even tell sometimes. And it's just like, I can. I think they're really different. But the color, for one thing, draws everything together. As soon as you get like on the early More Than Meets the Eye, if Josh is coloring it, it looks like More Than Meets the Eye, no matter who's drawing it, because it was such a distinct style. So that's what I do. It's nothing, basically.
I've done both. When I do one of the first fill-in jobs I had was on early All Hail Megatron issue. I did 5 pages and Guido did the rest of the book. So I think our styles are maybe close anyway, but I really kind of tried to channel Guido as best I could. When I draw my own full issue, I'm just doing my own style. But again, I did a few pages in a Robots in Disguise issue with Andrew, and just some of the, I don't try to draw completely in his style, but the way he draws faces is a little different than mine, so I try to get some of those details in the faces so it's not so jarring when you switch. Because a lot of times what they do now is if you're asked to fill in, okay, you do the flashback scene, so all your pages are happening in a different time, or something where it makes sense that they might look a little different. But these particular pages were happening literally in the same time frame as Andrew's, so I try to just take a few little cues from his style and kind of add them to my own so it's not too jarring for the reader. But other than when I'm trying to literally mesh right into the story, I just kind of do my own thing.
Kind of the same with me, especially like when you're following up on Sarah Stone, who digitally paints everything, and I'm the complete opposite, where it's just everything's black and white. I did when I first started. I was basically studying the way she drew most of the characters, especially Windblade and Chromia and Ironhide, especially the way she draws him to look very robust. Like he's a very large character that looked like he could take out a wall. And so it's like grasping that kind of like essence, I guess, was like it was what I was aiming for. And then I would just put my own spin on it because, like, again, I don't want to be Sarah Stone. I still want to be like within my own style. So I would, grasp like that kind of just design, but put it in my own sort of way. That works.
It does.
You got anything for us, Josh?
Yeah.
All yours.
Floor is yours.
I've never really been a part of a project really where I've had to kind of mesh styles or anything, like tackling different designs, like if I'm doing like commissions or anything like that, or I've done some for fun, like sample-ish kind of stuff with like More Than Meets the Eye characters or whatever. I definitely don't try to like fit in like all the details and quirks that like say Alex would do. Because, Alex is Alex, and, that's why they have Alex, is because Alex can draw the way that Alex draws. And if someone hires me for anything, you know, like I kind of had that when I started doing the Christmas special that I'm working on now with John, because it does take place in the not rid timeline. You know, it's all these characters that, you know, that Andrew draws regularly, and I kind of had to remind myself, like, okay, I'm not gonna try to be Andrew because I can't be that, and if they hired me to do this story, then they must have hired me because they like the way that I draw. And so I just kind of had to remind myself to be comfortable with me and who I am, and my style is like radically different than Andrew's, and you know, but that's all right, and it's still fun. I like to draw like characters like Rodimus, even though he is hard.
Speak
and
for
shallow.
yourself.
It's fun for me because I leave all that hard stuff out. I don't do that, and it's fine because it's kind of my style. You know? But yeah, as far as like coloring goes or anything like that, I've had to fill in on some other stuff, and actually I did fill in on the second issue of the Robots in Disguise cartoon comic, and so that on that one, especially those fill-in pages, like I definitely, as best as I could, tried to ape Priscilla's coloring style. But now I've kind of moved into the regular colorist role in that book, and I'm kind of moving more into just kind of how I would do things, which is kind of cool, but it still kind of flows, I guess. But I don't know.
Thank you.
It's me.
Good answer.